We often picture ancient Egypt as a male-dominated society where women were little more than property, existing to bear children and serve their husbands. But what if I told you that this couldn't be further from the truth? Welcome to my channel, and today let's explore the surprising ways that women really shaped early dynastic Egypt. Our journey begins with Queen Hetepheres, the first wife of Pharaoh Sneferu. While her husband's name is more prominently carved into the historical record, it was Hatshepsut who held true power. Her influence is best exemplified by her lavish burial. Unearthed at Dashur, her beautifully preserved tomb showcases the wealth and status enjoyed by royal wives like herself. Unlike her husband, whose titles mainly pertained to his role as a king, Hetepheres bore titles emphasizing her role as an administrator and leader. She was the great of praises, his beloved, but also the administrator of the two lands and his chief of works. These titles suggest she played a vital role in governance, possibly managing large building projects and ensuring the pharaoh's smooth rule. But for me, the most intriguing aspect of her tomb is the discovery of a second burial chamber. It's almost as if there was a hidden room containing a secret, only revealed when archaeologists carefully peeled back the layers of history. Inside, they found a collection of 10 red granite sarcophagi, each bearing the name of King Sneferu. Who are these mysterious sarcophagi? What's their connection to Queen Hetepheres, and what do they reveal about the dynamics within the royal family? Join me as we delve deeper into this enigma and uncover more about the compelling story of Queen Hetepheres. Let's take a closer look at these mysterious sarcophagi. Each one is made of red granite, a material associated with great expense and only fit for a king. They were discovered inside a secret chamber of the main burial chamber, hinting at a deliberate attempt to conceal their presence. The sarcophagi bear the name of King Sneferu, but why would a queen have built a series of sarcophagi with her husband's name if they contained her own children? This might suggest a complex relationship between King Sneferu and Queen Hetepheres, one that goes beyond the typical narrative of ancient Egyptian royal marriages. It's important to note that while we don't have explicit written records explaining their relationship, the archaeological evidence provides an alternative narrative. The sheer opulence of the queen's own tomb, coupled with the fact that she was buried with multiple sarcophagi containing her husband's name, suggests a level of importance and perhaps even power that challenges conventional historical accounts. Perhaps Queen Hetepheres had significant influence over King Sneferu, or maybe the relationship was more complex, defying our modern understanding of what a royal marriage entailed in ancient Egypt. The lack of written records allows for different interpretations, urging us to consider alternative perspectives on their unique bond. Moving beyond the royal court, we encounter Neith, a woman who achieved recognition not for her royal lineage, but for her exceptional skill as an artisan. A limestone bust depicting her visage was unearthed at the Giza Plateau, offering a glimpse into the life of a craftswoman working during the reign of Pharaoh Unas. The inscription on the bust reveals that Neith was a supervisor of artisans, responsible for creating and maintaining the beautiful works of art that adorned the pharaoh's palaces and temples. Her position was highly respected, signifying the value placed on artistic excellence in ancient Egyptian society. But what's particularly fascinating is the inclusion of a small figure of Anubis carved at the base of the bust. Anubis was the god of the dead, usually depicted as a man with the head of a jackal. His presence on a funerary object like a bust was common, but why is he shown in such a diminutive form on Neith's bust? Could this indicate that Neith was working on a tomb or other funerary project when her bust was created? Or perhaps it symbolizes her role as a guardian of the dead, ensuring the proper creation and preservation of their tombs. The bust of Neith not only highlights the vital role of artisans in ancient Egyptian culture, but also the potential influence of religious beliefs on everyday work. It serves as a reminder that even without written records, artifacts like this can offer rich insights into the lives of ordinary people like Neith. However, when it comes to understanding women's lives in ancient Egypt, we often encounter a frustrating gap in the historical record. Many archaeological sites and artifacts offer limited information about women's roles and contributions, leaving us with incomplete and sometimes misleading narratives. Take, for example, the famous Palette of Narmer, an artifact that depicts the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt under King Narmer, or Minos. While the artwork is celebrated for its historical significance, there's one aspect that often goes unnoticed: the absence of women. On this palette, which dates back to around 3100 BC, we see King Narmer wearing a unique crown, symbolizing his role as the ruler of both Upper and Lower Egypt. But where are the women in this depiction of such a pivotal moment in Egyptian history? Their absence might seem insignificant at first glance, but it reflects a larger trend in ancient Egyptian art and society. Typically, women were relegated to the background of artworks, their roles often overshadowed by male figures. Even in scenes that clearly involve women, such as those depicting women bringing offerings to gods or participating in religious rituals, they are frequently shown in positions of subordination. This raises an important question. Why is there so little representation of women in ancient Egyptian art and society? To answer this, we must challenge the traditional narrative that ancient Egyptian women enjoyed greater freedom and rights than their counterparts in other ancient civilizations. Instead, we must acknowledge that the archaeological record is often incomplete, biased, and subject to the limitations of the time in which it was created. The scarcity of female figures in artwork like the Palette of Narmer may suggest that women were indeed confined to domestic roles and denied the same public visibility as men. It's crucial to approach such artifacts with a critical eye, recognizing that the silence of the past can often tell us as much as the stories that have been passed down to us. By confronting these uncomfortable truths, we can gain a more accurate understanding of the challenges faced by women in ancient Egyptian society. In examining the limited roles portrayed for women in ancient Egyptian art, it's essential to recognize the impact of societal norms and the potential for misinterpretations based on our own modern perspectives. For instance, the frequent depiction of women in subservient positions, such as women holding offerings to male deities or standing behind men in processions, may not necessarily reflect their actual status in society. Instead, these representations could be a reflection of the values and beliefs of the time, where certain roles and behaviors were considered appropriate for men and women. Furthermore, we must acknowledge the inherent biases in the archaeological record itself. Many artifacts were created and preserved by male artists and historians who may have had a particular agenda or perspective. For example, the famous Palette of Narmer, while an iconic symbol of Egypt's unification, offers a very limited view of women's roles based on the society's views at the time. In order to gain a more complete understanding of women's lives in ancient Egypt, we must actively seek out alternative sources of information and interpretations. Exploring other forms of artwork, personal accounts, and cross-referencing with other historical records can help us piece together a more accurate and nuanced picture of women's experiences in ancient Egypt. By doing so, we can challenge traditional narratives and celebrate the achievements and contributions of women who, despite facing significant limitations, played a vital role in shaping the course of history. Unveiling the untold stories of women like Queen Hetepheres, Neith, and countless others is crucial in rewriting the narrative of ancient Egypt. Their achievements and contributions, often overshadowed by their male counterparts, deserve to be brought to light. By embracing a more inclusive and intersectional approach to history, we can appreciate the richness and complexity of women's lives in ancient Egypt. So let's continue to explore, question, and celebrate the remarkable women who made their mark on the world, ensuring that their stories are heard and their legacies are honored.